Tucker Carlson is going on tour this fall, and some media outlets are not at all happy about it.
We are pleased, in fact thrilled, to announce Tucker Carlson Live, which is what it sounds like, a nationwide tour. And at every show, we'll be joined by a friend, a special guest. Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Russell Brand, and many others. We're going to be live on stage responding to everything that is happening in real time. It's going to be fun as hell and interesting. You can get tickets at tuckercarlson.com. They are certain to sell out. We encourage you to get one, and we'll see you there.
When Carlson announced that tickets were on sale last week and available through Ticketmaster, CNN's Oliver Darcy published this headline. Tucker Carlson is going on tour, and Ticketmaster is profiting off his hateful rhetoric.
Darcy slammed Carlson's tour, which includes right-wing luminaries such as Megyn Kelly, Vivek Ramaswamy, and former Democratic political official Tulsi Gabbard. CNN's Darcy went after Ticketmaster for selling tickets to the tour. He writes, asked for comment this week, representatives for the Live Nation, the entertainment company that merged with Ticketmaster in 2010. Subsidiary chose not to respond. In fairness to the company's public relations division, it is difficult to see how they can defend such conduct. That's according to Darcy. How can any decent person not only participate in enabling Carlson's poisoning of the public discourse, but also justify profiting off of his hateful rhetoric in the process? Again, there I am quoting Darcy, who I do not agree with at all, and this, speaks to just the entire ideology now of so many in mainstream media that what they take issue with is someone platforming someone whose views they think are bad, and so they're explicitly trying to pressure here the venue or the ticket exchange salesman for featuring an opinion, making money off the platforming of an opinion that Oliver Darcy thinks is wrong and bad. And I think it's just a utterly loathsome and discredited tactic at this point.
Yeah, look, I vehemently disagree with Tucker Carlson. I think a lot of the things that he preaches are white replacement theory, and I think there's a lot of white nationalism in there. But if Ticketmaster and Live Nation want to platform him, that's between them and the stockholders who they owe. It's not for us to push Ticketmaster to not have him there. That's on Ticketmaster. I don't think it's a smart move for Ticketmaster to want to be aligned with Tucker Carlson, and especially Glenn Beck and a lot of the rhetoric that's going to be espoused at those events. But look, that's what capitalism is. That's how the free market works.
Yeah, it's just very obnoxious to me that CNN's point of view is that that's the only acceptable opinion. That's the only mainstream people who get things wrong all the time, who are they want to paint Tucker Carlson as uniquely reprehensible or a unique spreader of misinformation. I've certainly disagreed with some of the things Tucker Carlson has said over the years. Not all of the things. Other things I think he's been at the cutting edge on. But that's just not acceptable to the mainstream media. It just has to be by the book, what they think goes, and no one else is allowed to express an opinion on that.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing about Tucker. When I've done Tucker's show a couple times back when he was on Fox, when you start having a conversation with him, he's an easy person to see where he's coming from, but then he takes it to this next level. And I think, whether you agree with him or not, I think we've got to be able to have discourse in this country. You got to be able to have differentiating views. Now, I think Tucker gets into a lot of trouble because he's someone who's really intelligent, who I think has kind of made a marketplace out of conspiracy theories. For better or for worse, Tucker knows what he's doing. He knows that some of the platforming he's doing, some of the people he's having on, like Glenn Beck or Tulsi, aren't exactly, I think, the most honest people. But that's for him to do.
Yeah, I think Tulsi's very honest. I think she's a former Democratic member of Congress who's decided that her views no longer align with the Democratic Party and has become very critical of them. Glenn Beck said a lot of things over the year. I'm sure I've disagreed with some. I've been on his show, and I found him a perfectly lovely human being to converse with about. If we're talking about conspiracy theories, I mean, again, on the COVID front, a lot of things that right-wing media figures said about COVID that were derided as conspiracy theories by people like Oliver Darcy ended up being accurate, or at least kind of accurate. We now know that a lot of the mitigation efforts didn't do very much good, that even the vaccines themselves were oversold from the standpoint of preventing infection. We know that, experts contradicted themselves 18 times on whether masks work or don't work or which masks are there and that. The harms to children from being out of school ignored by so many in the mainstream for so long. So, there are certainly conspiratorial things that people on all sorts of the sides of the political spectrum believe that ended up being wrong, but...
Tucker's a unique person in the political ecosphere because, there's even been conversations about Tucker running for president in 2020.
Not by him. He said he never wants to do that.
Which, do you really believe that?
No, I fully believe he does not want to run for president.
I think if he decided in 2028 that he was going to run for president, he could be the second coming of kind of the Donald Trump-ish figure.
I think he could do well. I think he does not want to do it. I think he enjoys spending time with his family, knows it is a very stressful job. He's a family man. I think he likes creating content, likes hosting a TV show, and has no interest in running for higher office.
The platform that he's creating, he's seeing success. You see the guests that he's putting together for this tour. You see the amount of views that he's getting. Tucker has, for better or for worse, managed to hook into something that people have really followed. And it's not just Republicans. There has been a real populist kind of receiving of his message. And
there were more when he had his show on Fox, there were more Democrats watching him than there were watching the Democratic cable news channels because they needed to know at least what the right is thinking.
Yeah, and
he was by far the most influential figure in right-wing political media, exerting, in my view, an often positive influence on the dialogue, particularly on foreign policy. He was one of the more anti-interventionist figures on the right, helped turn the tide away from neoconservatism, even exerted some pressure on Trump to live up to his rhetoric on pulling out of the Middle East. Tucker criticized Trump when the Soleimani strike got ordered. He said, "What good is this bringing us to war with Iran? What good would that do?" So he's such a reviled figure, Tucker and Trump by the mainstream media, but
part of that,
I see that as all to the good.
Part of that strong dislike about Tucker has to come from the way that he talks about migrants, the way he talks about immigrants, brown and black people. He often uses fear tactics and language that I think is reprehensible when talking about immigrants being dirty and these crime-ridden cities. Tucker is someone who I think has the ability to do good, but has chosen instead to fill a void.
We live in a city that is crime-ridden. Now, I don't think immigrants are, in fact, I know from looking at the statistics that immigrants are not responsible for it. I'm sure I disagree with Tucker on immigration. Now, he would deny certainly that you said it was a white nationalist, a white replacement.
His white replacement theory, he can't deny that he does believe that Democrats are bringing immigrants into the country so that we can replace white Americans.
Democrats said they were doing that for a while, right? That remember, the demographics are destiny. They said immigration will solve all from a Democratic standpoint.
The browning of America.
Will bring all these people in who are going to vote Democratic. That was Democratic campaign people said that, and then Republicans started to take that concern seriously. Now, where I depart from the thinking on this is that I'm seeing the demographic trends, and I'm actually not seeing hegemonic liberalism coming out of that. In fact, a lot of our Latino immigrants are
becoming Republicans,
socially conservative, are Catholic, are fleeing socialist repression. And my rejoinder to people on the right who are afraid of the replacement is that, the people, frankly, in America who are most hostile to conservatism and capitalism and religion are the most wealthiest, whitest people who came over on the Mayflower. It's not the threat to our way of life and our ideology is homegrown, is not being brought into the country from outside. I think that's a frightening thought to many on the right. They don't want to contemplate it. But as far as I can see, it's the truth. The Ivy League is the most hostile place. The legacy people who've been here for generations, most hostile to what I would consider the positive American ideals. It's not it's easy to blame the immigrants, but
look at Puerto Rico. Democrats have been pushing for statehood for Puerto Rico for a long time, but now you look at those demographics, Puerto Rico would be a Republican state, most likely. It wouldn't be a Democratic state.
Yeah, the most terrifying thing we could do to give Democrats more power would be to make Washington, D.C. a state.
I'm here for
not because it's full of immigrants, because it's full of wealthy Democrats.
Taxation without representation.
I want just no taxation. I don't care about representation.
51st
just
state,
no taxation.
DC.
That's the way it should be. All right, that does it for us today on Rising. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Michael Starr Hopkins, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thanks
It's
so
been
much
nice
for
to
having me.
reconnect after our old Fox News days.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere that you can find podcasts. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.